guys! In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to put up the ceiling and install the lighting in your van. But first, cue the sappy van life intro.
Traveling to all kinds of places, meeting some friendly faces. Van life is really, really great, especially the hot girl clickbait. Gotcha! Van lifers got it all, a way to get away from it all, acting like it's really super duper. But don't mention a bucket is their pooper. Van life.
Alrighty guys, from the last video you watched, you saw I already put a couple pieces of the ceiling up. The reason I did that was so I could run the solar cables through. Now, what we're gonna be doing is really easy. All we gotta do is slap the pieces of the ceiling together because it is tongue and groove. So, if you guys look up here, if it'll ever focus, there we go. You can see that is the groove. So you just put the tongue side in there and slap it together. Now what you want to do is put glue in there first. I suggest the wood glue. And then clamp it together. And let it sit for a while so it's really strong. Now, what we're going to be doing is also putting in the lights in there. So, if you saw my wiring and solar setup part 1, you noticed that I already did all the wiring. So all we got to do is determine where exactly we want the lights, because I gave us enough extra so we can kind of put it wherever we want. So what we got to do is measure over how many boards that we need so we can determine where we're going to put the light to and cut our hole, which is going to be a little stressful, but we can figure it out. So that's next. Here we go. Alrighty guys, so I measured over and we need 4 boards. So what we're going to be doing is taking some Tight Bond 2 wood glue and putting them in the grooves before we put the tongue in, and then we're going to clamp it together so it's going to be super tight and strong. So that's next. Here we go! Alrighty guys, now that we've given it overnight to dry, we're going to go ahead and cut them to size because they're not quite long enough to go the full length of the van. So we've got to cut them to fit the supports. These being the supports. What we're going to do is just like we did right here. We're going to take some self-tapping screws that are going to go right up through the support, but shy of the roof. Make sure that you get the right size screw because you don't want to pierce your roof. That's next. Here we go. Alrighty guys, now that we got it cut to size, we're going to go ahead and cut the holes out for the lights. Now how to do that, we're going to go ahead and use a hole saw. Hole saws make it a lot easier to get the right size hole. Just make sure, whatever your size light is, that you get the right size for the hole saw. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and cut out the holes for the lights now. Here we go! Now, once you get your holes cut, make sure to test and make sure the light actually fits inside it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Perfect fit. All right, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and polyurethane all this to make sure that it's watertight so we don't get any mold on these. And then after it's polyurethane, we'll go ahead and stick it up there. Here we go! Alrighty guys, while we're waiting for the polyurethane to dry, I figured I'd go ahead and hook up my light just to go ahead and test the wiring to make sure everything's all wired up right and see if the lighting works. So let's give it a shot. Now these lights are really cool because you can just touch them and they'll turn on. So hopefully my wiring is right and it'll turn right on. So let's see. Alright, it works! Oh, sweet. Okay, so well, that's a good sign. So yeah, so boop, 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 boop. It works! All right, well, tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and install the next piece of ceiling and put the first few lights in. Here we go! Alrighty guys, the first thing to do when you're installing a section with the lights in it is to first see how much the light actually sticks past. So we got like, about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. So with the ceiling, we got the insulation up there. You just take the ceiling, put it up there, and then mark out the hole. So you're gonna have to cut a little bit of insulation out where we're gonna put her. So we're gonna go ahead and do that first. So here we go. Alrighty guys, we got those sections cut out so the lights will fit now. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and attach the wires to the main line. So we're gonna go ahead and connect positive to positive and negative to negative. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can either solder them, you can use butt connectors, or you can use bell end connectors. These are what I'm using, the bell end connectors. So you just put them together, like you twist them together, and then you stick them in here, and then you crimp them down really good. And then you've got a solid connection. So we're gonna go ahead and do that for both lights now, and then we're gonna put the ceiling up. Here we go! Okay guys, so you see I just went ahead and twisted the wires together. And now what you do is you put the bell end on, and then all we gotta do is crimp that little section, and then it'll be together. Then we're gonna take some electrical tape and put it over the exposed end, just to make sure there's no shorts. And that's how you do it. So we're gonna go ahead and do this with all of them now. So here we go. Alrighty guys, we got them all wired up. Now what we're gonna do is the exact same thing we did to connect all these. We're gonna take some wood glue and go along the groove, and then we're gonna put this piece, the tongue, into that section, and then we're gonna go ahead and use some self-tapping screws to screw to the supports. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use the self-tapping screws. I've seen people take a 2x2 and kind of put along the supports and then screw up into them. Another way is you can glue them. Downside to gluing them is if you need to take off your ceiling for whatever reason, like to take off your solar panels if you bolted them, then it'd be a lot harder to take them off. So screwing is usually the best way to go. So we're gonna go ahead and get that glue in there and then put up this next piece of ceiling. Here we go! Alrighty, y'all, we got her. Now let's see if she works. Boop. All right, 1 for 1. Boop. 2 for 2. Oh yeah. So now that we got that up there, I also want to mention that you guys saw in the time lapse. In order to hit these together, just get a block of wood, put it against here, and just get a rubber mallet and whack it. That way you're not hitting the groove and messing it up, so that'll really help you out. So now that we got those up there, we're gonna go ahead and get the next section all the way over. Alrighty guys, well, we got them all polyurethane. Now you're probably wondering, why did I put the wood in sections of 2? Well, I did that for 2 reasons. The first reason is when you're polyurethaning them, you don't want to get the polyurethane on the tongue of the wood. So by putting them in 2s, I've already got 1 tongue for each section already covered. So those are all protected. Now the reason you don't want to get the polyurethane on the tongue is because if you go to glue it, the glue is going to attach to the polyurethane and not the wood, so it won't be as strong. Like for instance, if you ripped it apart, it would actually pull off the polyurethane and not the wood, so it'd be like attached to the polyurethane. So be careful when you're polyurethane and not get on the tongue of the wood. Now the other reason I did sections of 2 was because I don't know if you guys saw in the video, but I'm screwing in every other one. So by doing sections of 2, this one won't be screwed and the next one will be. And we'll just kind of keep going down the line that way. So that's the way I'm doing it. You can screw every one, you can screw every third one. It's up to you really, but that's the way I'm doing it. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and keep polyurethane in them. We're gonna do 2 coats of polyurethane on each side, and that's what I recommend. You know, you can do more, either or, but that's what we're gonna do. Alrighty guys, we got the main ceiling done. Now, we've got to put on the back ceiling. Here we go! Alrighty guys, starting on the back, we got to get everything back to even. Now if you notice, we got a couple things hanging down here around the fan. We got the wood square, that's to hold all the screws down, and we got the support brace going across. So what we got to do is somehow make all that even so we can be able to just bring the boards back and it's not going to look all jagged and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring everything down level with this support brace because that's going to make everything even. So we got some furring strips and that'll make it exactly even, so that'll work out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one here, one over there, and then we're going to take and go all the way around the square as well. So that will get everything even. Then the next thing we got to do is cut all the ceiling pieces to size. So that's next. Here we go! Alrighty guys, as you saw yesterday, I ran into a little bit of a problem because one part of the roof is a little bit lower than the others due to that support I cut through. So what we're going to end up doing is, as you can already see, I put up some new supports that we can screw to, and this is how you did it. You just like get some braces and brace it up there and just use some construction adhesive and that'll hold it up there while it's glued up. So now we got some places to screw to, so we're just gonna make an adjustment on the length of the board, and now we got a new place to screw to, so that's gonna fix the problem. So we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of the ceiling up. Oh yeah, let's go! Alrighty guys, now that we got the ceiling all done, we're going to install the last piece of the fan. Now this is just to kind of make it look all pretty. So what we got to do is measure the corners. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I explained this at the end of the fan install video, but I want to show you guys just how to do this. So give me a second here, just going to get my measuring tape to actually work. There we go. So what you want to do is take your measuring tape and go up to the corner of the fan, and then you want to measure down to the ceiling, so it looks like it's about 2 1/4 inches, and then you want to add 1/2 inch, so we're going to go 2 3/4. That's so it can tuck up in between there, because we want it to be able to up in between the fan. And then you do that with all 4 corners, and then you'll use those for marks on that piece right there, and then we'll mark them, and then we'll cut it. So that's next. Here we go! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you put in a ceiling in your camper van. Next time, we're building the ultimate closet. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Later on, everybody! Woo!